welcome back to Let's Talk Premier League. We're here for the Liverpool Show. I'm joined by Tom and Thiago's father. Sonny should be here at some point during the stream. He'll drop in and then he'll drop out for the quiz because he knows that's the hard bit. But how are we all doing after what can be described as the most traumatic week for almost any football fan?
I've got a very clear head on certain subjects now where they were a bit fuzzy before, and that's all I'll say.
I look forward to this. I am looking very much forward to this. Thiago's father, you appear a lot calmer. You seem a bit more, shall I say, at ease. You're a bit calmer. How are you doing, mate?
No, I'm just here for it today. I know Tom's got a lot to say, so I'm sure me and Tom might clash for the first time. But yeah, let's have it.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree. So we might as well jump straight into it. Super League happened on Sunday night, then the whole of Monday, then pretty much all day Tuesday, and then these owners really got scared and pulled themselves out quite quickly. Tom, we'll start with you. What were your thoughts on the whole Super League and all of that?
Well, where do we start on that whole Super League debacle? These owners, FSG, they've been doing things not of this magnitude, but they've been doing little things like this for a while now. You know, we had the ticket scandal, the £77 for a ticket. We had what was the other one? We had we've had four, I think. This was the fourth. Project Big Picture was another one. And there was another one that I can't remember right now.
Furlough staff.
Furlough staff, that's it. That's four major controversies. And each time they've put out an apology, and then conveniently, within 2 to 3 weeks, we've had a signing, a big money signing. And this trend has continued with the signing of Canate today. These owners need to be held accountable for what they're doing. They're trying to turn football into an American sport, and it'll never be that.
Yeah.
Us English fans, we don't want this Hollywood-style sport where it plays for about 2 minutes and then you've got 10 minutes of ads and breaks and stoppages. We want our 90 minutes of gritty football. We don't care how nice it is. You could ask any football fan if they'd rather have, 50,000 at a Hollywood event or 20,000 on a cold, rainy night in Stoke. You're getting 20,000 at the cold, rainy night in Stoke. These owners don't seem to understand that. They just think, how can I get rich? How can I get rich quick? And this was another failed example. And I'm sick to the back teeth and I want them gone.
See,
I don't know who I'd get in, but I want them gone.
See, I think about it from two perspectives. You got the football side of things, like you were saying. Everything you said, I agree with from a football perspective. Yeah, this is what we're about. It's about the fans. It's about you've had that hard day, you've had that hard week at work, and you go down on a Saturday to support your team. People travel far and wide to support their team. So to be priced out in terms of the ticket scandal, and then they subsequently went on to freeze ticket prices because they knew they'd messed up. For them to then do Project Big Picture, and then again they feel like they've messed up. It is a slap in the face to the fans that come out week in, week out to support the team, whether that be at Anfield, whether that be watching games on TV, whether that be paying your subs for your membership, whether that be, stadium tours, whatever it is that you do, in whatever way you show your support for Liverpool Football Club, buying shirts season after season after season, you're still showing your support for Liverpool Football Club. So it is a bit of a slap in the face. But then I look at the business side of things, and if somebody said to you, "I'll give you 3.5, was it billion pounds?" So 3.5 billion pounds for competing in a league which you can never get relegated from, what do you think? Me as a businessman would say, yeah, that sounds amazing. Where do I sign? The challenge you've got is with foreign ownership comes that kind of mentality. They are in it to make money. They don't love the club. They don't love the club. Yeah, there's no affinity with the club. And as British fans, we lost any rights to football in this country when the very people which owned our club, that resided on our shores and were businessmen in our country, sold it off to foreign investment. At that point, we lost all rights to our game. And we as fans, unfortunately, have aided and assisted in that transition, because the demands that we were making in terms of stellar signings, you know, bigger stadiums, more kits, more this and that, these people just couldn't take that club to that level. So it needs that additional push, that additional investment, and that only comes from overseas, unfortunately. You know, there's no one I could think of, there's no businessman that I could think of, UK-based businessman, that could pay the £800 million what Liverpool is valued at. There's no one that could do that. There's no one that could do that. There's lots of talks about the German model, you know, 51% owned by fans, 49% owned by shareholders. No fan groups could afford to buy 51% in Liverpool. You could never do it. So, you know, we're kind of at a point now in British football where that ship has sailed. The tide is fully turned. We are now in this. This is the kind of things that are going to be happening, because owners want a return on their investment. Any successful business needs to give a return on the investment. But the business side of the game and the on the field side of the game don't meet, because in the middle, the people that get caught in the middle is us, the fans. And that's when it becomes a problem.
I just feel that the government have to step in these situations. We cannot have another situation like this where you've got six English rebel clubs, in a sense, going up against everything that this country's game has stood for. The government now have to step in, and I don't care how much it's going to cost you. You're about to fork out 500 million on a bloody shit named after a prince. I don't care. Invest in these clubs, because if you invest in these clubs, if you make it so it's fan-owned, 51%, you'll make a return on that investment a hell of a lot more likely than if you were to buy a ship and put a prince's name on it, which probably doesn't even get people riding on it. Football is the national sport. The government now has to step in and take the power away from the foreign owners. They have the business sense. That's why they need to be here. But you have to consult your main stakeholder, the fans, because if you lose the support of them, you're done for. And that's what FSG have failed to do time and time again. And this is just one too many. This is just one too many times for me of not learning from your mistakes.
Yeah, I agree with you, Tom, because this is the challenging thing, right? Is that you look at, for example, the whole model of the government potentially bringing an independent regulator. That independent regulator, as we saw throughout lockdown, the government attacked football. It attacked it. You know, Premier League clubs earning billions, not doing anything for the community, this and that. We saw all the headlines. They attacked, you know, the Premier League clubs. They attacked the Premier League. No, the Premier League's got to look after the rest of the teams, so on and so forth. You know, you've got to look after the football pyramid. So, you know, the players got attacked. Oh, they're earning big wages and not doing anything to help the pandemic and so on and so forth. So football became an easy target. Now, we talk about the government coming in and helping and legislating. The only way they're going to do that is through an independent regulatory. And all that independent regulatory will do is say, well, players are earning too much money. That's a good way to cut it. So let's pay our players a fraction of what they're being paid now. What that then does is seeks to dilute the game, because players will then go, well, I'm not going to go and play at Liverpool and earn a fraction of what I could earn playing at Real Madrid or Barcelona, because there's none of these issues here. And I could go to Bayern or Dortmund, or I could go anywhere in world football. Yeah. Why am I going to play for Liverpool Football Club? Because the only people that are going to want to really play for Liverpool Football Club and feel that passion is your Trents, your Curtis Joneses, your Steven Gerrards, your Jamie Carragher's, your local lads. They get what Liverpool Football Club means. They know what it means to the fans. Do you know what I mean? They know what it means to the fans. Mo Salah stayed silent over this whole entire week when this has all gone on. 0 tweets, 0 Instagram posts about all of this. Now, I respect Mo. I love Mo to bits, yeah? But he's here for it. He's here to get paid. He's here to come out, perform, and get paid. He doesn't have
he did do that post that all of them did, but he didn't like post it. He put it on a story.
He put it on his story.
That's the only thing he did.
Yeah, he's not here to represent us. He very rarely talks out. Do you know what I mean? He just comes, plays his football, goes home, does his family life. He didn't get involved. Whereas someone like Henderson is at the forefront as the club captain. Yeah, he gets it. But a lot of these players don't really get it. They're here for however long their contract is, and then they're off. So we really are at a turning point where we risk potentially alienating players in the game over player salaries and player wages, transfer fees, and so on and so on, and could potentially disadvantage ourselves even more as a game in Europe, as we've already seen with as we already saw with the change they made with the transfer window. It disadvantaged us. So we're at a crucial point. Something has to change, but what changes? That's the key thing. What changes?
The government just needs to use the brains, but they're not going to do that because the government's. So we're at a crossroads. Realistically, fan-owned is the only way for this sport to stay how it should be. To keep its integrity, fan ownership has to happen. Will it happen is the big question, and I doubt it will.
Or we put something in the contracts to say, look, you can't take this club out of the Premier League. Don't be bloody ridiculous.
No, but then what if it does come to a situation where it's perfect for everyone? You go out, you join the European Super League, and everything is perfect. There's multiple leagues. It's not a closed shop.
I don't think there is a perfect way. So I think the perfect way is by, look, we've gone for the fans, not the fans, the owners now. Once you lot have all said your piece about owners and look, as I said, I've changed the United stuff to green and gold because that's what they have when they're protesting their owners out. I haven't seen any colours for other teams, so I haven't changed others. But we'll just be continuing that for as long as they want it. But we will be going for UEFA. The UEFA are not perfect out of this, right? Out of the two, I fought for UEFA because that is the best of a bad bunch, right?
They're all crooks, pal. They're all crooks.
Well, exactly. Out of the two options I was given, you had the 12 crooked clubs, shall I say, or UEFA and the Premier League. I sided with UEFA and the Premier League because that's what's best for the game. I will be going for UEFA next. They are not coming out of this scot-free. Right? They are just as bad.
They're complicit.
And the thing is, yeah, and the thing is, dialogue needs to be open between the owners and UEFA. So there needs to be dialogue. Too many games in the Champions League. I get that. But we also have to respect that teams like Celtic, teams that aren't the elite clubs, but they still win their domestic leagues. They deserve a right to be in European competition. That cannot get taken away from them. But is there too many teams in there? Yes, that is a fact. Do you deserve to be in there if you're not there in merit? No. So take that bit out straight away. This new format, it is something. I've got the thumbnail ready. I'm just waiting for the best time to bring it out and to do a stream on it and to really look into it. And then as I said, we're going to talk about UEFA and corruption. But there needs to be dialogue. And we need to understand that what's best for Liverpool may not be what's best for Istanbul, right? Istanbul, Başakşehir or Fenerbahce. So we need to have that dialogue. But they need to get around the table. But the issue is, who is bringing them around that table? because FIFA is just as corrupt as UEFA.
Do you want to know what the
Race is
issue will
just
be
as
with
corrupt
these
as FIFA.
situations? The issue with
What's
these
that?
situations is the big clubs bring in the majority of the money. That's their argument. We bring in, let's say, 80% of revenue, and yet our votes are worth the same amount as someone who brings in 0.2% of the revenue. That's their argument. They want more power over these smaller clubs. That's their issue.
It's funny you say this because I had this conversation with on my channel. So shout out at the Red Sea Pod, everything Liverpool fan related. You can catch us on there. Also shout out Never a Foul. But I said this, right? So imagine that, you know, us three go out for a drink, yeah? It's around the table, yeah? We're having a drink. Niall gets absolutely shit-faced. Yeah, he's drank us all under the table. There he goes, look, he's drank us all under the table. Yeah, the bill comes to £100. Niall puts 10 quid on the table and fucks off out the door. Me and you have to split 90 quid between each other.
See, I like that. That seems like a good idea. When are we doing this?
Exactly. Me and you only have 1 or 2 drinks, but Niall is pissed as a fart. Yeah. We've also got to pay for his taxi home. Yeah. And we've all when by the time we get home, we've got to carry him up to bed. Yeah. So we're doing all the legwork, right? But he's had more out of it than us. That's how the big six feel. They feel that Leicester, Burnley, whoever else, yeah, is turning up, getting pissed as farts week in, week out, yeah, and then we're having to pay for their taxi fare home. They're getting more out of it than they are.
There is an element of that, but the issue is, life is never fair, right? That is, anyone who thinks life can be this fair, you get what you're given, or sort of you get what you put in, shall we say? That just doesn't exist. That's just not real. But there needs to be something, because the likes of Burnley, the likes of Brighton, I think if in fact Burnley or like a Notts County, they're founding members of the Football League.
I'll give you an interesting stat.
Without them, there would be no Premier League, because they were the ones who founded it. So the thing is, we have to be fair, but we also have to realize that yes, they do more. There needs to be more money, of course.
Yeah, pay your worth. Pay what all they want is their worth. They want their worth. So I'll give you.
It's a difficult one though, because there is so much. There's so many teams, and you have to try and do what's best for Sheffield United
as fairly as possible. It's got to be distributed as fairly as possible.
Yeah, because if not, if you distribute it all to Liverpool, let's say Liverpool, yeah, we bring in this much, we're going to get this much out. Then that means that the teams near the bottom can never ever try to achieve what you've achieved, because that gap just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So for the balance of play and for fair play, we have to think of it in a more logical way.
Totally.
There's never going to be a perfect answer, because, as I said, what Liverpool Football Club want is not going to be the same as what Sheffield United.
I don't think the issue is the money. Like for this situation, the issue isn't money. The issue is when it comes to voting on certain things. If all the big six say yes on it, you can guarantee the other 14 will say no.
Yeah.
Out of spite, because they want to stay together and get the benefits.
Look at the substitution thing. All of the big six voted to have the additional substitutes, yeah, after lockdown, for that to remain a fixture of the Premier League. Yeah. The smaller teams voted and said no. Yeah. They said no. All because they thought, oh well, that means that the other teams got stronger squads than us, and we're gonna be disadvantaged. It becomes a battle of tactics. It becomes a tactical will. An example: how the hell did Norwich City, who got promoted and then relegated at the first time of asking from the Premier League, earn more money than Bayern Munich, who completed the world treble? How did they earn more money than Bayern Munich last year? How? Please explain to me. This is how farcical football is. Yeah. Then to make it worse, then to top it off, this is last year they earned more money. Then this year they've got the prime TV slots in it from the Championship. Norwich are on TV every single freaking week.
Mm.
So they've earned. So another example, they've earned more money this year, being relegated, coming back up than Sheffield United, who maintain Premier League status. It's farcical.
And that's the whole thing, isn't it? Sheffield United being relegated here. Sheffield United being relegated. Sheffield United got relegated, didn't they? But they were allowed to vote on the punishment that the Big Six would get.
Yeah.
Why? They're not in the league anymore, but they still got a vote for it.
Yeah, 100%.
The thing
this
is,
whole voting system is flawed.
There is definitely a problem with the voting system. That's a fact. But because obviously my club was in League 2 last year, and the clubs had to vote, right? So we had to vote for 3 options. We either null and void the season, points per game basis, or whatever the other one was. There was 3 options, right? I can't remember who it was. I want to say, fucking who was it? Port Vale. No, was it Port Vale? Basically, whoever was in.
Well, I can give you the example.
So
Tranmere Rovers last season were just in the relegation zone in League One, and they wanted it to be the 3rd option. I think it was home points per game and away points per game rather than a total one. So I think it was away points per game got a little bit more weight because that would have meant they would have stayed up. Bear in mind, they were 2 points behind and had 2 games in hand, and it went on points per game, and they were relegated.
That's not the
because the voting system is flawed.
No, so in League 1 we had in League 2 you had the 3 options, and the team who was 8th actually decided to vote for points per game, even though points per game made it that they didn't get playoffs. Right? By doing that, they showed that they were selfless and they did what was right for the league and not for themselves. We need to get to a stage where
I'm not having that. They only voted that because they knew voting for something else wouldn't have made a difference.
No, it would have.
That's the only reason they would have done.
No, because if they had voted for the other one, so not points per game, but the other one, whichever, I couldn't remember the way they were, all 3 options. It was about a year ago. But if I remember, if they got the 3rd one, they jumped up to 7th. But
yeah, it wouldn't have mattered if they'd have voted for the 3rd one because not enough people voted for it. So
I'm just using that as an example of a club that's doing it the right way. Now we need to get to a stage where all the clubs are doing that. Now, for me, the voting system is shocking, right? It is, because the 14 will vote against, and the top 6 will do their thing. So how do we fix that? In your opinion, how do we fix that?
The voting system goes off merit. Whoever has achieved the most has the most power, because you're one of the main attractions. You're one of the main reasons it is what it is.
Instead of merit, what about longevity? So let's say
no, because then Everton get as much power as Liverpool, but Everton have been in 3 relegation battles in the Premier League.
Yeah, but Everton haven't been relegated. They've been in the Premier League since its existence. They do that. So the reason I would say longevity.
So is what about this, Niall? When Newcastle got relegated in 2017 and came back up the next year, they would have got instantly more voting power than the majority of the teams that had been there. They would have done because they've been there longer.
No, I'm not talking. That's not what I'm on about. So longevity in a continuous way. So you have merit then. Sort of, but for merit, if you're describing merit in terms of trophies and all of that, that's not okay for me. The reason I say longevity but continuously is because that way, let's say an Everton who's been there since the creation has put all their efforts in, they've not been relegated, they deserve to have that little extra say. But a Sheffield United that have been in the league for a year absolutely do not deserve the same amount of say.
But then, what about Man City, who have not been in the league the entire time, but they are quite clearly the much better club than Everton?
Because at the end of the day,
less power.
No, so it's about the reason I say this way is because it is arguably the fairest way. Because if we're looking at historically, Man City have only been good for the past decade, right? Whereas a team like Liverpool have been good and have been good for the Premier League for the last 30 years. That, for me, should mean that Liverpool have more power than Manchester City, because Liverpool have done more. Liverpool are one of the reasons that the Premier League is where it is today.
Yeah, but
the same with Manchester United.
If you go off continuity, Everton, not Everton, Tottenham have a hell of a lot of voting power. Tottenham should not have as much voting power as they want, because they are only there because they've got rich owners. If you go off merit, they get the 6th most voting power. That is the fairest way to do it.
Well, not really. If we go off merit, I'm pretty sure Villa have won a Champions League. So, well,
no, you can't go merit historically.
But then
go merit for like the past 5 years. Past 5 years merit.
Well, this is the thing, guys. Right? Is that ultimately, yeah, Liverpool are one of the founding members of the Premier League. Yeah, so if we're talking about founding members and so on and so forth, XYZ, the Premier League have got a total cheek, because when they wanted to form a breakaway league and say, you know what, we're going to pay you all this money because we want to make the game better. The only difference between the Super League and what the Premier League was is that there was relegation and promotion, so to speak, and that the payments looked after the rest of the sporting pyramid. That's the only real difference. Now, I agree with Tom in that all the big six want is to be paid their worth. That's all they want. If you bring more to the table, you should be paid more. If you bring more to the table, you should have more voting power.
When you talk payment, you don't mean of financially, right?
No, just more power in the decision making.
More power.
In an element, yes, but then we need to work out what that power is getting used for.
Yeah,
how many points would it be? 20 and 19 and 18. So whoever came first on this merit table for 5 years would have the equivalent of 20 voting points, because there's 20 teams. And whoever came bottom of the merit table would have 1 voting point. So instead of teams like Norwich going down and up and down and up and having the same voting power as a team that's won the title year, challenge year, you have to do it on a merit basis, not longevity, because then you've got certain teams too high.
I don't mind that, but I just want to make sure that we're using the power that is going to be given in the right way. So I don't want anything that could harm the English game. I don't want anything that could harm competition.
So that's where the fan ownership comes in.
I don't want anything that's going to make the Premier League less competitive. So I don't want these owners abusing this power. So who regulates that?
The fans. You get this 50 plus
no,
one.
No, in terms of the power. Yeah, but it won't.
It would be a very easy system to make up.
How? No owner is going to sell half their club unless it's put in as legislation.
So put it in as legislation, and if they want to sell, if they want to sell, then sell. Because you obviously don't want to be a part of the game.
If you're doing that, then you're regulating private companies, and not many governments do that. I agree with you that I want to see.
But we're protecting public interests, because football is the biggest money maker in this country. If you lose that, you're protecting public relations. You're protecting, in a sense, clubs or companies. You're not still on the stock market. You're protecting a company. They have to step in and do it. Otherwise, we're going to have situations like this every 3-4 years. And we're going to have these protests. But eventually, they're not going to work. And football will die. So the government has to step in now before it's too late. If you give 50% ownership to fans and owners want to sell. Take the massive profit margins out of football. Because if you want to be in the sport for money, that's not what it's about. It's about passion. It's about giving people something to smile about after a crap week.
We all know what it's for. We all know how important football is to all of us. It's a very complex situation, and There is never going to be.
It's not like there's a shortage of clubs you can invest in. Go to Spain,
No,
go to Germany, go to Italy.
What I'm saying is, there's just never going to be that perfect thing that fits everything. But I like fan ownership. I'm for fan ownership. I do like the idea of it. Kieran said Tom makes a good point there. To be fair, I'm not against the idea of it, but I think it was the way that it was said in terms of trophies and all of that. Where
the Premier League winner should carry a bit of weight.
Now you've explained as in like the league table bit. I can get behind that. I don't mind that.
But guys, I think we're missing one valuable point here, and one thing to consider. Mm-hmm. If you remove the money from football, so to speak, that makes it incredibly difficult for teams in the UK to compete with other teams. Yeah. So you then dilute the product, and the Premier League are never going to want that to happen. The Premier League is the biggest league and most important league in world football. It's the most watched in world football. So as soon as you start to dilute their product, that then starts to remove money from football. Yeah, and
you don't have to dilute it in a sense, because the owners would be selling their stake to another owner who would be just as wealthy, and it would be an owner who's actually in it for footballing reasons rather than for mainly profit reasons.
What about instead of fan ownership? What if they were made? So if there was anything that was going to change the landscape of the club, or as football is now, it has to go to a vote from your members. What about something like that?
Big clubs have too many members for those to make sense. No, you have to get a supporter group in.
No. You could have a members group. You could do it online, or however, one person, one vote.
Liverpool have over 2 million members. Not all of them are going to vote. Therefore, it's not a valid.
No,
for that to work, every member would have to vote. That's how it would have to work.
Or that, or get supporters trust, something like that. It's so not ownership, but it gives you that sort of safety.
But then you get the complicated question. You then get the whole logistics of what's a format changing rule or something, because you will find they will bend it in such a way where they avoid this, because they've got how many lawyers. They've got how many people to work around the rules.
You word it as simply as this. If you want to take Liverpool Football Club out of the Premier League, you must get permission from the Liverpool Football Fans Trust. Simple. If you keep it that simple, it can't get past that.
No, that Project Big Picture, that's not taking Liverpool out of the Premier League, but that's massively affecting the football landscape.
Yeah, but that would bigger picture would, and actually you've just led me on to why I wouldn't be too happy with merit-based voting, because if it was to do that, big picture comes through and that kills the Football League.
No, it doesn't. Project Big Picture helps the Football League.
No,
it gives them more money. It gives them less chance. I will agree. It gives them less chance to reach the Premier League, but it makes sure that the Football League clubs are still there.
It was ridiculous. It was the most ridiculous, unfair thing I've ever seen.
If it was that, sorry to butt in, but if it was that unfair, why the fuck did every League One and League Two club unanimously agree to it?
Because of the money. But if you're a true fan, if you want to ever achieve what you think your club can achieve, you never vote for that. Ever. Because it's wrong on every.
In what way? I haven't looked into it, so I actually want to be educated.
Basically, it gave all of the power to the Big Six. Mm-hmm. No power. The only way that I'll see if I can, because I've forgotten it. It was
because
so much.
With this merit-based system I was on about, Leicester, because they've been good for the past 3 years, would have more voting power than Tottenham. And that's right with the current situation. And it stops teams like Norwich, who are bouncing up and down, having the same amount of power as a United.
Right. So Project Bigger Picture was to cut the Premier League down to 18 teams It was to give the bailout of £250 million to the Football League.
Was that per year or?
No, that was just a bailout. That was a one-off payment.
Was there any sort of thing for each year the lower league clubs will get?
No. Oh, well, 1 minute. Let me read it all. League Cup and Community Shield scrapped. Parachute payments stopped. 25% of Premier League annual income goes to the EFL. £100 million gift for the FA. 14 club majority voting system, special status for Big Six plus Everton, West Ham, Southampton. 6 of 9 votes would be enough to pass proposals. Promotion playoffs involving 16th in the Premier League and 3rd, 4th and 5th in the Championship. EPL and Championship clubs show in-match highlights on their own digital platforms. Align financial fair play rules with UEFA. Season to start later and pre-season friendlies extended.
Obviously, I'm not a lower league fan, but I'm struggling to see how that's a bad thing.
So, there was a few things here. Allowing the Championship clubs to show match highlights on their own digital platforms enables them to make more money. Money that in the
was it not EFL clubs?
No, it was Championship. It was EPL.
I'm sure that would have been adapted to all EFL clubs after a discussion.
Yeah, but
it would have been.
It doesn't change. It doesn't matter.
Obviously not there, but it will have changed.
But it still makes it. It still makes it slightly unfair. The other bits were the majority. 6 out of 9 votes would be enough to pass proposals. That just means the Big Six have to vote for what they want, and they could do what they want. Cutting the Premier League down to 18 teams was shocking, right? Because 38 games is not a lot. But basically, it never really got off because people didn't want to do it, right? But it just wasn't right. It simply wasn't right. But look, we can sit here and debate all of this for as long as you want, but I don't know if that will work too well. Should Liverpool face sanctions for what they've done?
Yes. I don't care if it's a points deduction. Yes. Because what about clubs that went into administration? That's nothing to do with the players, the manager, the fans, but they got points deductions. It's the only fair way to do it. And then after this, you scrap the whole thing. You cannot punish a club for something they didn't do, but you have to implement it for this situation. We cannot be exempt because we're good clubs.
We're not exempt. The key thing is that ultimately you follow the rule book. There is nothing in the rule book that says that we can be punished for trying to create a breakaway league or whatever it may be. So based on that and based on the whole foundation and concept of the league, it's a no from me. Morally, very, very different. If you're thinking about morally, then yeah, we should be punished for it. There should be some kind of forfeit, involved, because we've tried to bring the game into some kind of disrepute or however you may refer to it. But in terms of what the rule book says, nothing in the rule book that says we should be punished. So let's just stick to the rule book.
But then you've got the whole issue with people are gonna. It's not actually. This hasn't been followed to the rule book, has it? It's been given to fans to sort of, not fans, the other 14 clubs to decide.
Well, this is the thing. The other 14 clubs are going to unequivocally vote for some kind of sanction, because the way that they view it is it will disadvantage Liverpool in some kind of way, or the other top 6 clubs, it will disadvantage them in some kind of way. So we know they're going to vote for that, and I think that's wrong, because it becomes tactical voting. You're not voting for the right reason. You're voting tactically, thinking, if Liverpool get a 3-point deduction next year, that means that, or if all the top 6 get a 3-point deduction next year, that basically means that I'm 3 points closer to potentially getting Champions League football or European football or staying in the league. These teams will vote tactically for it. not because they're voting, because it's a moral, they've got a moral responsibility to the game, and that's where the hard bit comes in. And this is why the rule book is in place. If you enter into administration, you'll be deducted points. Simple as that. But then again, I think that that is wrong. I don't think you should punish teams for entering into administration, because all that does is plunges them deeper into, deeper into trouble. Yeah, so there needs to be some fundamental shake-ups in regards to how the league is run from a moral perspective and from a rule perspective.
Yeah, I want to hit the owners in their pockets themselves, not the clubs.
That's not going to do anything though, because they've got too much money. You have the best punishment I could think of is making them sell a proportion of the club,
or just by stopping prize money going into the clubs for next year. So
that punishes the players, because then players might not get paid the wages.
Tom, when my chairman overspent a shit ton of money, we got a 12-point deduction. So
that's the whole point I'm arguing. I think we should get a point deduction because of what's happened to other clubs.
No, I don't really care for a points deduction. I just think hit you in the pockets mean that you can't buy a player next year. Right, cool.
They will still be able to buy the player. The prize money is punishing the players and the fans, because what if that prize money was going to go on? We're getting the new stand. What if that prize money is we've got to delay the stand indefinitely? Therefore, punishing our fans for not what we done. Making the owners
there is no,
maybe not half the club, but maybe like 20% of the club.
Yeah, you can't force an owner to sell his property. That's like me coming round. That's like me coming round your house and me forcing you to sell your laptop.
But then what was the thing I was going to use? When you don't pay on time and then people come and take your shit. That's effectively what it should be, in a sense.
Bailiffs.
Yeah, that's it. Bailiff 20% of the club. The government has the power to do it. The government of this all-seeing, all-thing being, whatever. If the owners don't like it, the owners are going to get punished, and if the owners don't like it, they can go, and we can get our club back. That's the way I see it.
No, you make some valid points, but we'll move to football now. Actually, before we do that, did both of you see John W. Henry's apology?
Mm-hmm.
Did you like it in any way, or was it just one of them that it's just words and action speak louder than words?
At the end of the day, commendable that he's apologised, but does he really mean it? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
So we move on.
Hey, he did have yellow daffodils, which is apparently a sign of forgiveness. So, hey, clearly the man isn't that stupid if he's putting yellow daffodils or whatever it is to try and calm Tom Little down.
It's an amazing PR stunt. That's all it is. It's public. It's perfect PR.
Did you see the comments as well? Like underneath the apology video, bloody hell! Some of our fans have no backbone. It was the worst apology video I've ever seen, and there was like, "Oh, we forgive you. It was just a one-time."
That was the yellow daffodils. I tell you, apparently the yellow daffodils are a sign of forgiveness. Maybe put them in there, hoping that Tom would watch it and forgive him. But let's talk about football. We'll go to Leeds quickly. There's been a comment from Leeds or something, Bamford or something. Apparently, Fabinho kept saying to the back four, we're too deep, and all of that. Towards the end of the game, apparently, according to Leeds, that's a sign of tiredness. Do you think there's an element of truth with him, what Fabinho said there?
Yeah, sense, because you got to look at certain players in this team. They've played steady years on the bounce with very little breaks. This season's a write-off anyway. I'm not expecting much from it. Game was shit. We were shit. We're like an old man trying to get it hard, and then when it comes to the actual big bit, it just lets us down again on the attack. So, game was shit. We were shit. Move on.
That's a fair one. What about you, Thiago's father? Element of truth in what Fabinho said?
Yeah, quite possibly. At the end of the day, I kind of tend to agree with Tom on that one. You know, it was a poor game of football from us. We just can't seem to close out a game, which is frustrating. You know, once again, we were creative, but we just didn't close the game out. And if we do that against Leeds, they're notoriously good in terms of their energy. They're going to stay in the game. And all Leeds did is hung in there and then delivered a sucker punch.
Yeah.
And walked out the point.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I wasn't going to delve into a Leeds game for too long. I don't feel the need to.
We've got bigger things to talk about.
It was just quite an appalling game, to be fair. But everyone watching, please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel with notifications on. Next, we talk about Jordan Henderson, both on and off the pitch. How important is he to Liverpool?
Massive, massive. He epitomises everything that is Liverpool Football Club. Like, you know, let's throw it back. Yeah. So he was originally linked with a move to Fulham. What year was it, Tom?
2012 swap deal with Clint Dempsey.
Can you imagine if we'd have swapped him for Clint Dempsey? And Brendan Rodgers wanted Clint Dempsey over Jordan Henderson. Henderson refused to move.
I'll admit, when he first started for us, I thought he was shit. All he did was mark the referee out the game, but because he was low on confidence. Now that he's finally broken in, he understands his role, he understands his job. Bloody hell, is he important? You can see it this season. We've probably lost about 20 points in the stretch where he's been injured.
Exactly.
He's that important. He makes sure no one switches off.
And this is the thing. He when that move was going through, he called Kenny because Kenny brought him to the club. So him and Kenny Dalglish are very close. So he called Kenny and said, like, is my time up? Like, what do you think I should do? And Kenny said to him, no, like, keep going. You're good enough to play for Liverpool Football Club. And then the rest is history. And look now, you know, he couldn't have learned from a better example in Steven Gerrard on how to captain and how to lead Liverpool Football Club. And with respect, he's not come in and tried to be the next Steven Gerrard. He's done it.
First Jordan Henderson.
He's done it his own way. He's led the club in his own way, you know. And
you know what? He's not just led the club. He's been an example for every other captain in the Premier League to follow.
I agree.
There's a reason why he's the leader of all these captain committees and stuff. And I've said it to you for how long? I think it's a bloody disgrace that he's not the England captain.
100%.
Because you're not both in a footballing sense. He's the player with the best mentality to win games.
Yeah.
And as a leader, I don't think you're going to get many better leaders than Jordan Henderson.
Well, you're talking about a player. You're talking about a player. If we're talking about national team, that's captained England at every single level. At every single level, he has captained England. So why is he not England captain?
When you look at it like this, you know, on a club basis, as a winner, Jordan Henderson has a Champions League winners medal and a Premier League winners medal.
Yeah.
Harry Kane's biggest accolade is being the player who scored the most goals to not win a trophy so far.
100%. So what I don't understand why Harry Kane is captain of the national team. With respect, yeah, he scores a lot of goals. He's an important player for us at national level. I agree. He is a very, very important player for us at national level. But would potentially removing the captaincy from him free him up to be even more devastating in his attacking role and put that responsibility on a Jordan Henderson? I'm never a fan of strikers being captains. Never a fan of it.
Jordan Henderson is someone who seems to thrive with the captaincy. He seems to thrive with that added responsibility. He takes that as an extra motivation. I've got to push on now. I've got to show these lot what it means because I'm the captain. Lead by example.
I just think Henderson is a better captain. Everything he does, the way he acts on the pitch, his maturity, the way he can get these, because you think he's had to work with Trent, who compared to Hendo is probably a kid.
Mate, he made Gini Wijnaldum look like a good footballer last year.
Well,
I don't think you understand how hard that is.
There is elements of that as well. I just think he's an all-round better captain than Harry Kane. I think Jordan is more vocal. I think he's a leader. Now, I'm not saying Harry Kane isn't, but who's the captain of Tottenham?
Hugo
Lloris. Who's the captain of Liverpool?
Jordan
Henderson. Now, for me, the captain of England has to be the captain of their club. Yeah. So, and now, in theory, if we're being brutal, that can either go to Jordan Henderson or Harry Maguire. Now, I know who I'm picking.
Or Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish is the only one who gets to go.
Okay, they have to be a captain of the top 6 club because.
Or give Tom Cody the captaincy. Why not? Let's give it.
Because for me, it has to. They have to be able to handle a pressure, and being in the top 6 club, being the captain, you have that pressure. So I would.
You give it to the lad who's actually made it further than a semi-final.
For me, you can only give it to either Jordan Henderson or Harry Maguire. Now, obviously, out of the two, I'm picking Hendo. Obviously, vice captain for me would be Harry Maguire, because if we're going off my process, my thoughts, Harry Maguire should be vice captain because he's the captain of Manchester United. But Henderson should be captain. That's the way I see it. But he is vital. But apparently, as news today, I haven't seen it too much. Although before I get into that, RJ saying no, Tom isn't wearing a Liverpool shirt.
You know what? I'll have it on this right now. Until FSG leave Liverpool, I will never wear a Liverpool shirt on this channel again.
Nice. So Tom is a Dortmund fan. He loves the black and yellow. How are Dortmund doing this season, Tom?
We don't talk about that.
So both Tom's clubs are having a bad day at the moment.
Mate, I've got an Atletico shirt in the drawer as well. Ever since I started wearing that, they've done shit. Just don't make me wear a shirt to your club if you want.
Never wear a Plymouth Argyle shirt. We're shit enough as it is. But although we could drop down to Torquay's level, and that would be horrific. But apparently you signed Konate today. I don't know how official that is.
Fabrizio confirmed it.
Okay, so you've just signed Konate.
I've done it.
He's quite injury prone.
No, he's not.
It was 2 major injuries that happened back to back.
Yeah.
At a young age, and since then he's been alright. It's just been little niggles. You know, we need him, and Van Dijk has the potential to be better than any other centre-back player in the world. It's relying on a lot of factors, but the potential's there.
I don't think it's a him and Van Dijk thing personally. Yeah. I don't see it. I think he is, because you think Virgil's 30. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to bring him in to learn from Virgil, but I still think that Klopp's preferred centre-back pairing will be Verge and Gomez. I just think Gomez has struggled a bit too much with injuries over his time here, Annie. I think this is an insurance thing. Gomez will not get less games. They will still play an equal amount of games. You saw how Klopp rotated Gomez and Matip when they were both at the peak of their powers. They'll still get the same amount of games. But I think Ibrahim Konate is, he's that something that we need. He's a Joe Gomez, but better. And I love Joe Gomez. I think we're going to see a change in formation.
Is ridiculous. I think we're going to see a three at the back of Gomez, Van Dijk, and Konate. Try and get. How are you going to get past that? You can't out sprint them.
This is what I'm thinking. I've been saying it for a little while. We're going to go to a back three. We're going to free up Robbo and Trent to absolutely.
Salah up front, closer to the goal. I think the casualty in this is either Mane or Firmino. It'd be Firmino, Mane and Salah up front, Thiago and either Fabinho and Thiago or Fabinho and Henderson in the pivot, and then sign someone to play the number 10 or have Jota there.
Hold up. Why are you sacrificing? Well, no, because what you're saying is you're going to put Jota on the bench, and Jota's been much better than Mane all season.
We need rotation. We need rotation.
Yeah, so why can't
them two will come in?
Why can't
I still have a bias to Sadio Mane. That's the only reason I've said him.
Well, okay, so Tom is now out of that. So I would be picking Jota and Salah, if I'm being honest. Mane coming on as an impact player until he learns to play football again.
Well, if you want me to be honest, you need Sadio Mane alongside Salah because he's more direct. Like Sadio Mane, when he's on it, will just run at you.
Yeah, but he hasn't been on it for an entire season.
Listen,
he was on it at the start of the season.
As one of our most regular one of our most regular viewers, he keeps saying, "Where's Wally?" Mane's having a season of "Where's Wally?"
It is all it comes down to is that it's a combination of whatever front three. We'll see another arrival in a striking position as well. I don't think it will be.
Hold on, you got Divock Origi. Why do you need another striker?
No, you need to stop this love affair with Divock Origi.
Hold on, what sort of love affair do I have with Divock Origi? I just think it's quite funny.
Ever since he managed to hit the bar in a one-on-one against Burnley, I've lost faith in him.
Why?
That's what. No, believe it or not, when he hit the bar against Burnley, that's when I put my faith in him. Because if you're doing crossbar challenge against Burnley, that is some confidence.
He does everything right, and then when it comes to the most important part, it's like he switches off his brain.
He fucks it up because he gets too much. He's an instinctive striker. You can't give that guy too much time on the ball.
He overthinks everything.
So, what striker would you bring in then?
I think, honestly, I can see. So we've been linked with Adama Traore, yeah. We've been linked with. Now, hear me out.
Adama Traore.
Not as a striker, yeah. But if you look at his delivery, yeah, his end product in terms of delivery, yeah, from out wide and crossing, he ain't too bad at crossing, yeah. So what it does is it gives you options. Yeah, if you're going to play with a free and wing backs, would you not have Adama Traore as a wing back just bombing on?
No, I would not. I'd be getting. I'd go get.
This is weird because you know I rewatched today. I saw it come up on the timeline. I rewatched Sadio Mane versus Napoli in 2018-19. That's what Adama Traore would be like for us. He missed 4 big chances in 10 minutes.
Why'd you get Traore and not Rafinha? Why'd you not just go get Rafinha?
Rafinha can't. Rafinha's left-footed, so Rafinha will cut inside, and that's not what you want from a wing back.
Rafinha couldn't play wing back.
I would want. I'm not going for a wing back because I think he's going to trust Nico Williams again. Do I agree with that? No, but I think he is.
But then again, it might free Nico up as a wing back.
Yeah. He's got less defensive duties.
So, hold up a minute. You lot have took the piss out of United for having Dan James, and you're about to get the juiced up Dan James. Dan James
I love Coutinho. You know I love Coutinho, not Coutinho, fucking Daniel James. I stand by him. I think he's quality.
Oh my god!
But I think we should be looking. I think we should be looking at either a Felipe Coutinho for the 10 or a Rodrigo de Paul for the 10. Someone who can hit it from range, who can play these killer through balls. Imagine a Coutinho and a Thiago and a Trent feeding Salah and Mane or Salah and Jota. We'd create 7 big chances in the first half alone. Or if we're going for a striker, we've got loads of reliable links today with the PSV lad Marlon, I think his name is, from in Netherlands. So he will probably be someone else.
I'm still in shock. Someone mentioned Adama Traore.
You know what? Jurgen Klopp could probably get a bit of end product out of Adama Traore.
You look at
I just don't want to sit through another
his attributes.
Year of a winger not finishing his dinner.
But look at his attributes. Yeah,
he's the perfect clock winger.
in a wing back role, forget the finishing, because wing backs very rarely get into a position when they need to finish. It's about whipping a ball into the box. It's about putting that ball across the face of the goal and giving the keeper something to think about. That's what your role is as a wing back, yeah. And then assisting in double ups with defenders to create 2v1 or 1v2 scenarios. Yeah, that's how you're going to play as a wing back, right? Adama Traore can do that. All it would mean is by coming to Liverpool and playing in that role, it would simplify his game. I think Wolves are asking too much of him.
They're playing him on the left-hand side as well, which is not where he needs to just run straight. Having him turn inside is issues because then his touch isn't great.
Exactly.
If you just have him going, look, lad, do that, and you're good.
Yeah. And when you get there, put a ball in the box. That's all you got to do. Simplify his game.
I wouldn't pay what Wolves would ask. That's the issue. Wolves, after last season. Bloody hell. What would they ask for last season? 70 million? You'd have to laugh if you're getting that for Adama.
That's ridiculous. He's not worth the transfer.
RJ saying, is Mbappe coming to Liverpool, or is it Divock Origi contract?
It's a Divock Origi contract extension. That's what it is. And we'll sit there and go, oh, for fuck's sake.
Big up to Gabriel in the chat. Apparently he's built like a shit house. The United show starts at 10 p.m.
Oh, no. There's been another shit offside decision.
Oh, nice.
In the Arsenal game.
Thiago's father wants to see pace in that team. That's fair. I'm about to see whatever Tom's about to see.
How's that? Offside?
Well,
I saw that ages ago.
Don't want to get anyone
How's
banned.
That offside?
Yeah, it's only a picture. It's all good with pictures. We have pictures all the time. It's videos and music that catches the YouTube algorithm out. Velvet Swan, sorry I'm late. Big up to yourself. He wants Jeremy Doku and Daku El Nesri and Awar.
That I think that they would have been good signings if we were still challenging for top four.
I don't, because pronouncing them names on a weekly basis might give my brain something.
Awar's a top.
I know
Jeremy Doku and Nesri. I think that's
that's my brain ain't quite that big. Maybe if I was
you don't have to deal with all these foreign names down in Plymouth, do you?
Nah, we are literally. If you want Brexit FC, come down to Plymouth. We'll give you Brexit FC. Mike Cooper, Luke Jepcott. We just keep it simple. It's very good for me. Yeah, Danny Bear, Adam Lewis. Like
he's on loan from us.
Yeah, he is. I told you that. I told you that like months ago when you first went down here. No, because I messaged you. I was like, "What's Adam Lewis like?" And you were like, "I don't really know." I was like, "That's helpful."
Oh, he played like a game for us and was all right. But he got fucked over by Larousse getting first team football. That's what done him.
I blame Jurgen. RJ saying, "Damn! Imagine a year ago, Liverpool rumoured to sign Mbappe. Liverpool now. Adama Traore close to Liverpool. Damn, you have dropped." RJ chucking a bit of rivalry there. Imagine spending 55 million on Adama, the pace and cross merchant. It might benefit them actually.
But you need that as a wing back, you donut.
Velvet Swan is saying no Adama Traore.
Hold on, flip that, Niall. Flip that comment back. Let's interrogate this. Yeah, right. So the shed end, you shed. Yeah. If you are a wing back, right, you need to be a pace merchant and a cross merchant. Stop being stupid. Do you know what? I've just clocked you a Chelsea fan. Fucking explains it all. Next.
Marcus Alonso is literally a Adama Traore without the pace.
Exactly.
Liverpool playing FIFA.
A Chelsea fan.
RJ saying
none and void.
Liverpool playing FIFA at the moment. RJ's a United fan. He's the host of the United show. He quite likes Adama Traore on FIFA. Velvet Swan saying it's pronounced Nezeri.
Nezeri.
Nezeri. Yeah, again, me and foreign names don't really tend to
don't even, man.
But
apparently we've inquired about Basuma.
That would be a good sign.
No, but this is the thing. FSG are going to use these signs to paper over what they've done. Oh, look. Yeah, we did that. But look, we've got big signings. You look at them, at them. And then they're going to try and scope back off. You can't let that happen.
The last bit before these two get the quiz. Oh, and FYI, you get a minute to look at the picture now, not any longer. You get 1 minute. That's it. It was 45 seconds, but I thought I'd be fair. It's because
the United boys had longer. I bet the United boys had longer.
No. This is why
boys got caught out for cheating last week.
This is precisely why this rule's been put in, because they took about 5 minutes on one picture, and I still had to dock them a point for cheat.
That's not my problem. That's a them problem.
RJ also got yellow carded and then sent off for foul and abusive language.
I'm going to be putting this out there now. I'm not committing to this new rule. I want fair.
Where's this voting power? Where's this table merit system? When can we have this vote?
Firstly, this is a dictatorship, not a democracy. And secondly, the United boys are going to get the same treatment. The Chelsea boys had it.
We'll be all right because we're sound. We just know our stuff. We get in there. We're Jordan Henderson. We get in there. We get the job done. We get out.
The Chelsea boys had a minute. The Arsenal, the one Arsenal fan that turned up, he had as long as he wanted on all his pictures, and he got 9 out of 15. So it wasn't great for Arsenal. But quickly before we get into that, Newcastle, what do you think the score is going to be?
Fucking 1-1.
Liverpool's favourite scoreline. What about you, Thiago's father?
I said this on my channel earlier on. Nothing but a win will do. It's a must-win game. I'm not fucking about with draws and shit like that. It's a must-win game. 2-0 Liverpool.
That's fair. Some comments before we do the quiz. I guess Tottenham will give you another definition of Alonso.
What's that?
I guess Tottenham will give you another definition of Alonso.
Do you mean Reguilon? An actual good left back?
Just wondering what happens if Virgil van Dijk returns and injured again, how much you're going to cry. No, the first word you... no. The first word you say the end.
Nezeri. I assume.
Nezeri. I don't fucking know.
Oh, don't sign him then. I can't be bothered. How are you going to fit that in a chance?
Yeah. Don't. You're not allowed to sign him. That will do my head in. RJ saying some of the pictures are so ass last week. I swear, if it is, it's so rigged. The thing is, RJ, you couldn't even guess that the team was Middlesbrough. Like, come on.
Everyone knew that Middlesbrough case. Even Gini knew it was Middlesbrough.
Yeah. And I bloody told you it was fucking Middlesbrough just to try and hurry you up. Still took ages and you still cheated. RJ, a no-legged Van Dijk is clear of your defence. Our B team centre-back start over Joffridge and Linda flop. Not to the last time we played yet.
Let's just bear in mind. You played Reece Williams. The centre-back.
You played Reece Williams.
Our centre-back pairing last time we played Man United was Reece Williams and Fabinho. That's D tier. That's D. That's like D team.
RJ saying we're going to beat you again. Well, you lost last week. They got, I think, was it 15? And RJ got 14. Well, United got 14.
Google.
But it is. Well, no, because I deducted that point for that score because I had my suspicions.
Mate, I'm honestly disappears for 2 minutes and comes back. I've got a hunch.
Yeah, I've got a hunch. You'll probably say that I've cheated and all that. I was like, RJ. RJ saying Bruno is on the bench for that one. That's cute. But it is the quiz time. As I said, you get a minute for looking at the picture, and after a minute's happened, I yank that picture off quicker, and you can say Bob. So, are we both ready?
Yeah.
Right. The first picture is this one.
That's Newcastle.
That is Newcastle. That's when Gerrard scored that absolute screamer.
Is it? Or is it the one where he's... Because there's 2 Newcastle games. There's one where he scored the screamer, but I don't think it's that kit. The one I remember is the one where he's ran from his own half and chipped the keeper. And I think that one ended 4-0, did it? Because Sammy Hippie scored in that game. And I think it was 2008 or 2009.
If it's not that one, because there was one in 2011. That might be that.
That's the 2008-2009 kit.
10
oh, it's St. James. No. It's 2008 because it's that kit, because it's got that stupid little badge on the back. What was the score? It was either 4-0 or 5-1. Did we concede? Because I remember Hippie scored, Gerrard got a brace, and then we won a penalty, and Benitez took him off so he couldn't get his hat-trick to drive him on, because that was what Gerrard thrived off.
Oh my God, it's 1-0 Everton. Leno. Oh my God, Leno's just fucked up. Leno is just really fucked up.
I think it was 5-1, you know. I think it was 5-1. I think Xabi Alonso scored, but I may be wrong there. But I think Gerrard's second, the chip.
Yeah, it's I reckon 5-1 as well. Leno, yeah. Oh my God, Leno.
I'm gonna have to see this later on.
Yeah, 5-1 will go. So we'll go
5-1, 2008.
2008, 5-1. All right.
Premier League.
Okay. So, picture number 2.
That's Fulham.
That's Fulham, and that's at that's
the 2004-5 kit, isn't it?
Yeah, the Reebok one, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And that's Steve Finnan.
That's Steve. Oh, bloody hell. Didi Haman's there in the background. Oh, fucking now. We're just going to have to go for like a generic score here, aren't we? We were shit against Fulham for a couple of years as well. So this might have been a stupid draw or something, because we were quite bad this year in the Premier League because we focused on Champions League.
Yeah.
It's just about that's at home.
Did he get sent off in that game?
I don't know.
5 seconds to go.
Couldn't tell you. I'm gonna have to go 0-0, I think, because if we'd have scored, I probably would have remembered it, because I've watched that season back a few times to watch the Champions League goals and the Jimmy Traore back heel own goal.
Yeah,
I think I will probably remember it. I don't think we won, and I don't remember many goals, so I'd have to go 0-0. 2004 is what I gamble on Premier League. Just the 04-05 season.
2004.
Yeah. I'd gamble on it being 2004, but I know that it could be 2005 because we kept the same kit the year after.
We did.
But I think it's 2004. I'll put my neck on the line and go 2004, 0-0, Fulham Premier League.
You sure?
I'll put my neck on the line for it.
Are you locking that in?
I'm locking that in. And if it's wrong, I'll take the 4.
So, picture number 3 is this one.
Right, that's 2010, 2011, I think.
Against Wigan at the DW.
Was this one of the ones where he scored, or was it one of the ones where he was shit?
I think he scored. That's against Wigan, isn't it?
Yeah. Because that's the Roy Hodgson kit.
That is the Roy Hodgson kit. 2010.
Is it?
10 seconds to go.
2010.
2010. Okay, we'll go 2010. We didn't win many games under Roy Hodgson, so I don't think this is a win.
2010. At the DW
Premier League.
I'm going to go.
I'm going to go 1-1. Because Torres would have scored that.
Yeah, I'm going to go with draw.
He was shit, but he wouldn't have missed that.
I'm going to go with draw.
Picture number 4 is this one.
Okay, that's last season, 2-1 Premier League, when Adrian decided he wanted to pass it to Danny Ings, 2019.
I'll let you have that one then.
Mane scored first, Bobby scored second.
So the last one is this one.
Oh, that's 2010 also. No, is that the Adidas kit? Yeah, that's 2010. No.
It's 2000. It's Burnley had like a 1-year thing where they were in the league.
That's 2010 also.
Is it? I don't. Oh, unless it's the end of the 09-10 season and not the start of the 10-11.
No.
I think it is. Because I think that kit, I seem to remember Gerrard playing Champions League football in that kit and not Europa League football, which is what we had under Hodgson.
10 seconds to go.
It's just a score. And we battered Burnley that season, both home and away. Because I remember in the home one, Glenn Johnson scored an overhead kick.
Yeah.
In the away one, I think Gerrard grabbed a brace. Matty Rodriguez, this was like one of his first games as well, because he signed and got injured. So I think he scored as well.
Yeah.
And I think there was another goal. I can't remember who got it, but I think there was another goal. I think it was 4-0. Like late, like the end of the 2009-10 season. So 2010, and it was a Premier League game. I'll put my neck on the line for that one.
Mate, he's on the rod.
What score are you going for?
4-0. Liverpool.
So I'm just marking your work now. So we'll go to some comments quickly.
Nah,
Thiago Silva's
I don't want any.
He's looking down at something. He's on Google. He's cheating. No, he ain't. RJ, he's looking at his Chris Wood.
RJ, mate, he was looking at his bloody telly watching Leno.
Love it. Hey, the rivalry is real. We know
he's
that
rattled.
much.
He's rattled because he got found out, and none of us did.
Boys, calm down. Listen, lads, in the comments, calm down. I'm enjoying a cinematic experience. Yeah.
To be fair, there's no good cinematic experience when Everton are winning.
Listen, gents. Listen, when I watch the TV, that all that turns to red. I'm enjoying a cinematic experience.
Come on, so, get it over and done with.
The first one you said was Newcastle 5-1 in the Premier League in 2008. That is correct. The third one you said was Wigan versus in the Premier League 2010 1-1.
We fought the second one.
1 minute. The fourth one was Southampton 2-1 in the Premier League 2019. The fifth one was Burnley. It was 4-0 in the Premier League 2010. The second one was Fulham. It was in 2006. It was 4-0 to Liverpool. You won 4-0. So Liverpool end up on 13 points, which I believe, if I check the Chelsea one, yeah, they're now 6 points behind you. And United could go top, not joint top, if they get 14 correct answers.
We've been done in by the fact that we had the same kit for 2 years in a row.
Which, FYI, if the United lot get 14 out of 15, I'll be shocked. That is all I am saying.
You keep your eye on them for cheating. You know what they're like.
He was looking down, not to the RJ, it's okay. Winning ain't for everyone. What a slip up. It's amusing, and anyway, they can't cheat because they'll have a minute to look at the picture, and that is all. And you know that I keep an eye out for cheating, so if they are cheating, I'll find them out. But the United quiz will be at the start of the show, so if you want to see how the United boys do, tune in at 10 p.m. because the quiz is straight away for them, because I have to jump off at 10:30 to go do something. So. That is that. RJ saying nice living.
What is that? What's them doing?
RJ saying nice living room, not gonna lie. Niall appointed me as head of VAR, so RJ, I will be watching. Yeah, I did not. I appointed myself head of VAR. But we've come to the end of the show. It wasn't as dramatic as I thought. Sonny has got lost, I presume, on his way to the show. Which is a shame. But before we go, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel with notifications on. Go check out our Twitter, Let's Talk EPL, and our Instagram, Let's Talk EPL _. Tom, where can they find you, mate?
Fuck knows. I haven't got a smart quip this week. At the FSG Out protest tomorrow, there you go.
Excellent. Are you actually going to be there?
No, I've got work, but I'm there in spirit.
Oh, that's fair. And Tiago's father, where can they find you, mate?
You all know where to find me at Tiago's father 89 on Twitter and also on Instagram. Whilst you're there, please check out at the Red Sea Pod on Twitter and Instagram, and also head over to at Never a Foul on YouTube. Probably one of the fastest growing football platforms on YouTube and on social media at the moment. Got loads of content on there, guys. So if you're a Liverpool fan, we've got Liverpool channel, Chelsea channel, City channel, United channel, Spurs channel, Arsenal channel, you name it, we've got it. Everything to keep you guys up to date on your latest football news as well. So check us out.
100%, and we'll be adding to ours next season, possibly a City show, possibly a Tottenham show. Might even start doing match reactions for them if I can bear the thought and find enough fans. That is something City fans are hard to find. They're either under 12 or they're very big on the YouTube scene, because if you're a City fan, you're a dime in a dozen. So that's the brutal part of being a City fan, because the rest of them are about 12 years old. They'll be brilliant in about 5 years' time. So I wait 5 years' time for the City lot to get there. But a big thanks to everyone watching. We'll be back in 16 minutes. RJ obviously hosting the United show. Go check out the new thumbnail. Obviously, it is green and gold for their protest. There'll be a green and gold background, and there's a new green and gold video or intro for them. So we're taking this protest to a different level. It's just because it's easier to do them, because they have colours. No other team has colours for their protests. So that's why getting the United stuff was easy to do. A big thanks to everyone watching. We will see you in 15 minutes time.